Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm hiking. It's Sunday. No buses, so I decided to take the long, arduous journey up the hill. I figured there won't be anybody out, so I'll just start filming a bit early. It's probably gonna be another lengthy one. Decided to hike with about 20 pounds on my back to start bolstering my stamina a little bit. So 20 pounds ain't much, but for someone that doesn't backpack with 20 pounds on their back all the time, it adds up. Every step is 20 pounds more, so it's not that big of a deal. Like, I figure my max out weight right now to be able to walk moderately comfortable is about 30 pounds. So if I'm hiking with 30 pounds, that's about my limit without really overexerting myself. So it's not too bad for somebody that doesn't hike with weight very often. Now, I shot a couple videos. One was garbage. I didn't like it. The other one, there was a smudge on the lens of the camera. So I was gonna post it anyway, because it's mostly just me talking, but I decided that that's super not cool. So, bunch of grapes. I grabbed those on the way back. And decided that's super uncool, so I deleted it and decided I'd just do another one, because, well, I got more to talk about now anyway than what I did then. So here we go. I want to start by complaining. I went outside to play hacky sack, as I do once in a while. Of course, alone, because small town drama. I don't know. No friends. You watch enough of my episodes, you know. So, alone, of course. Not no big deal, you know. A lot of the things I do my best work when I'm alone. Depressing, a little bit, but that's life. So, moving on. I decided to take the radio outside with, like, actual radio stations. You know, that relic people used to listen to in, like, the 90s. Like a boombox. Because I got rid of my iPad. Because, well, it just wasn't working right. So, I just got rid of it. All the programs kept, like, any game I wanted to play, I could play it for like 3 minutes, and then it would shut itself down. So I just got rid of it. Downside was, it was a decent source for music. But anyways, I want to complain about the radio. I was listening to the radio for about an hour and a half yesterday while playing hacky sack, right? Out of that hour and a half, I think there was like 12 songs, and everything else was bloody commercials. Like, no wonder radio's dying. Like, no wonder radio's becoming complete trash and no one's listening to it anymore. Gloves, huh? Like biker gloves of some sort. I'm gonna take them because I might wash them, and I might use them as part of my Halloween costume that I'm making. They're knuckle gloves, or the fingerless gloves. I used to wear those when I hunted, because I didn't like losing dexterity with my gun. So, another thing is, well, now that I complained about the radio, so now we're moving on. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. I'm sweating, and that heel takes a bit out of me. So yeah, sweaty. So the other episode, I did a couple episodes. Like I said, I was gonna do like a catch-up episode for the 14th. Well, today's like, I don't know, like the 17th, so I'm a bit late. But I did shoot a couple of episodes, just they didn't work out right. So I just got rid of them. Last episode, I came up here actually to pick more autumn olives, and it looks like somebody beat me to it. And a lot of the bushes that were like over encumbered with fruit are like almost completely stripped. I still picked a bunch because I didn't walk all this way for nothing. And I think I got about equal parts grapes to autumn olive now. So I did clean a bunch of them. I cleaned like the entire last batch. I still have a significant amount from this batch to clean up yet, but it's not that big of a deal. I have a large amount frozen already. So collectively, I think there's an entire gallon freezer bag full of them. Like if I mix the grapes and all olives together, it would be like completely full and have a hard time zipping. So I think that's pretty good for being one guy out in the woods. So yeah, that's that. I still don't know what exactly I'm going to do with it. Like, I thought about making some sort of jelly or something, but I really want to make wine again because the last time it turned out really good. But I'm just worried that I do that and something mysterious will happen to it, and it'll taste like garbage, and then all that work is just for naught. And that's not something. I don't need any more. I don't need any more disappointments. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. As far as the 14th is concerned, I think it's all just some big game. Like, she told me to get in touch with people to get an estimated price of what a home caregiver would be. So I made some calls. Got told. I dropped a line at one website, and I dropped a line at another website. The first website called me back in like an hour. Like, I was super impressed. Like, I didn't think I'd hear from them till like the next day, if at all. But they called me back in like an hour, and they directed me to another person. I talked to them people, and they told me that they set up an appointment through my grandmother and her insurance company, and that's what my grandmother said was happening on the 14th. So I told them that I think it's basically already taken care of. So the lady showed up. Didn't seem all that, I don't want to say she was uninterested in talking to me, but didn't seem like she was the person that was supposed to be there. Like, she didn't ask me questions that, she basically said that it's a 3-month process and that somebody else is going to show up later. So, long story short, one person sent me to another person, sent me to another person, to send me to another person for something that's probably not even going to happen. So, I think I'm just being lied to and manipulated, like usual. Once again, I don't really know what the end game is. Like, the best thing I can come up with is, why pay somebody that's going to do the job for free and get as much out of me as they can until I leave. That's the best thought process I can come up with. So, the game plan's still on, I guess. I got a cute little message. It's like, if you leave, nobody's gonna stop you. And I'm like, well, that's good, because the reason I didn't leave last time is because somebody did stop me. So this time, if you don't stop me, maybe I'll actually have a shot. So yeah. Last time, we went on the road, And we got to a point, me and an ex-girlfriend, we went on a road, and we were living out of a car. We'd do campsites and get motels once in a while. We had some money and stuff, so, like, it wasn't like straight up living like a savage. But, we would go different landmarks and places and check things out, but something was wrong, because every once in a while, she would just, like, start fights with me. And I can't blame her for all of them, but a lot of them. And the worst part about it was a very large portion of the fights, like, didn't even make sense. Like, there wasn't even a reason to fight. Like, we got into, like, a big argument because I bought, like, 40 chicken nuggets from Burger King when they were $1.50 for 10. So I bought like $6 worth of chicken nuggets and got like 40 nuggets, and that was like a great meal in my eyes. And she like flipped out, started throwing nuggets and crap, but and I want to preface this by saying, I guess it's late for a preface to be saying it beforehand, but I want to say that she was never like that before we were dating. So, you know, it's true what they say. When you start dating or you get married to somebody you knew before, there's like a switch that flips. So, or you move in with somebody, like there's a switch that flips and you find out what they're really like. But, so eventually I got real sick of it. I was like, you know what? I'll take my share of the money. You take your car. You go home. I'll catch a Greyhound and I'm going somewhere else. And she was like basically begging me, and I'm like, what? Actually, this happened twice, but we'll go the first one first. She like basically begged me to stay, and you know, I had feelings for her because we knew each other since we were like 5 years old. Like we always flirted but never sealed the deal because she wasn't willing to go as far as I wanted her to. So you know, we kind of always stayed like extremely flirtatious friends. But I always liked her. Like, I always wanted more than that, but I didn't want to commit myself to one person without the physical aspect, because I like the physical aspect. I like the physical aspect a lot. So, I didn't really want to... I was really young. Like, I didn't want to, like, be like, oh, I'm dating this person for XYZ amount of years and never done it, you know. Just, to me, that was just ridiculous. So, yeah, so, but, you know, I always liked her, and to some degree or another. So, when we finally did start to go out, like, everything changed. But I was getting ready to go on the Greyhound, and she was like, oh, don't go, please don't go, I don't want to go back. And I'm like, well, stop acting like a, you know, like stop causing fights over little stuff, you know, fight about something that's actually important. Like, worry about what's going to happen when we run out of money, not worry about, you know, me buying a cheap chicken nugget deal for, you know, a quick dinner. Or whatever the fight was about that night. So, anyways. And another time it happened, we kind of separated. I'm not sure how it happened, but somebody told me that they wanted me to move in with them because they needed help, and I wasn't in a particularly good spot. So I did, and I got an invitation to join another carnival, and I strongly considered it. Because I was like, me and my girl were fighting all the time. I'm in a living situation that I'm really not too happy with. And some of my better times in my life was when I joined the carnival. Now, that wasn't all, what do they say, ginger and potpourri? That wasn't all hunky-dory. Like, there were some bad times, and there were some things I extremely disliked about it. But they were also some of my happiest times. So, I strongly considered it. But once again, she won out, you know, so I ended up not going. So if it comes down to somebody not stopping me, that might just be like what I needed in the first place, because it's like wanting to do something like this is already so hard. It's so hard to commit to it. It's so hard to want to choose to do something like this over having a roof over your head, knowing where your food's going to come from the next day. You know, even with the manipulation and lies and small town drama, it's hard to want to turn down something like that to go, you know, essentially backpacking or, you know, becoming a bum, whatever you want to look at it as. So having somebody trying to stop me is like I'm already having a 50-50 struggle in my head, or maybe even a 40-60 struggle in my head, and somebody steps up and be like, you know, please don't go, and that's just enough to like tip those scales far enough where I'm like, it's not even consideration anymore. So if the message I got is correct and no one's gonna stop me, you know, thanks. Wish you would have done that, you know, 5 years ago. All I'm saying is if I would have just went through with this the first time I got tired of this place, I might already have a house, a car, and a family. When society decides to screw you, they do a really good job. So here we are. Now, what's next? You're missing, because of the new good old grandma developments, you're missing a lot of the cooking with blockheads. I went and made homemade macaroni salad, which turned out pretty good, but it's one of those things where it's like, I could eat macaroni salad once a year, and that would be just fine, you know. But I had green peppers, and there was only 3 of them, so there wasn't really a lot to do anything with. So macaroni salad, you know, popped into my head. So that's what I decided to make. I ended up making the stuffed pepper soup, and that was really good. The only thing I had to complain about was I was too lazy to like blender or puree the tomatoes that I used. So they had like those tomato stringy things, and that was not good. I hate that texture. That's why I don't like celery. That's why I don't like rhubarb. I don't like that stringy, like, slimy web texture in my food. It's disgusting. Mushrooms. I don't know what kind they are, but they look delicious. What do you think? Should I give it a taste? No, just kidding. Not today. I don't usually screw with wild mushrooms. I can almost guarantee those ones are safe, but I'm not that hungry right now to maybe on the way back, because on the way back I'll be heading out of the woods instead of deeper in. So then if I start dying, at least maybe I can make it to a road or something. Probably not. Like, I know some of the more popular ones. I'm not entirely sure what that one was, so probably won't mess with it. I started a new series. First episode came out today. I'm doing a short playthrough of Another Eden. It's a Steam game. I went and just I downloaded 3 Steam games that were in the For You free section, and I decided to try them out. One wouldn't open. The second one was a cross-platform MMORPG called Another Eden, and I decided to run with that one first. So that's what we're doing. Just all it is me playing for 30 minutes with a collage of background music I put together, and that's just it. Like, I plan to do at the very least 6 episodes, which is 3 hours of gameplay. But I don't know. If I like it, maybe I'll do 10, maybe I'll do 20. But the thing with, sorry, I want to burp, but it ain't happening. The thing with cross-platform MMORPGs is that when they're for mobile devices, it's usually really auto-y and, you know, eventually it gets stale. Like, even that Toram or whatever, like, I really liked that one for the first 5-6 hours. And then it was just like, oh, I'm just doing the same thing again and again with just different items. You know, it's just, it gets stale after a while. This one looks interesting, but I'm sure once I master all of the different things, it'll be like, oh wow, this is just a repeat of the same stuff again and again. So, but we'll see. I don't want to diss it too early. Don't tell anybody, but I'm 5 episodes deep already, and the first one came out today. So, so I've been kind of liking it. That's only 2.5 hours of gameplay, and I only downloaded it 4 days ago. So I'm kind of rushing through it, but not really. Casually rushing. I'm rushing casually. So, yeah. I started putting out the episodes every Sunday. After I scheduled the second episode, I realized that it's going to conflict with the Poke Paradise episode. I'm going to do the tournament, so I'm going to try to videotape it, as long as it doesn't crash or anything. We're going to have the Poke Paradise tournament, but we'll be quitting that server, at least for the most part. By quitting, I mean like not playing 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. More like popping in once every 3 days for maybe 20 minutes, and then when reset happens, I'm going to delete the launcher. I'll explain why. I'm going to keep it short because I'm just wasting my breath mostly, so I'm going to keep it kind of short. I'm not going to play anymore because they're just, they cheat. They just cheat. It's rigged. That's just how it is. And the plain truth is, not only is it rigged, but it's so competitive. So, like, there's no fun for me to really be had there. Out of all the time I play, I maybe have, like, 30 minutes of actual joy, of actual fun. Because everybody's so competitive, or the same person gets all the legend spawns, or the same 3 or 4 people get all the legend spawns. And I'm like, that's just unrealistic. It's just, that's not how this works. So, it's rigged, they cheat, and they try hard, and it just doesn't interest me anymore. It's like this town. It's like my life. I have a lot invested in it. Time-wise, maybe not so much money, but time-wise. So I don't want to just give it up. But at the same time, it started out like, wow, this is really fun. This is so much more fair. The people are so much nicer than the other servers. There's people coming. I'll be back. They're on that private property down there. So I'm not sure. It's Sunday, so there shouldn't be any workers. So somebody's down there doing something. Not my problem, and not in my way, so moving on. So, like I said, when it started out, it was really fun. It seemed fair. The people were nice, but it quickly deteriorated to like it deteriorated to the stereotypical server where, you know, the same handful of people win everything all the time, and you know, they shun certain players and act certain ways, and then get super competitive, and the server gets destroyed. So I should have never went back after the first reset. That's the truth. I should have just deleted the server as soon as I seen that it reset. But I noticed that the one admin, or the one mod that caused me issues, was gone. So I was like, huh, well, you know what? We can, I might be able to work with this. But it just seems that the problem actually just got worse. So that is what it is. So yeah, this time I will be quitting. I plan to log in every once in a while to make sure my 60 days ain't up, so nobody gets all my stuff for free, which I guess doesn't really matter if, like, you know, the mods can open up my chests and stuff whenever they feel like it, so it's not like that really matters. And they get all the legend spawns, like, all the time, so it's not like they need any of the Pokemon I got. So it is what it is. But, you know, I want to see when reset happens, and then I'm going to delete the server page. I'm mostly keeping it in case, like, any of the players want to do, or I want to do a episode on some sort of random battle format, and I can find a player that wants to join me and do a YouTube video. Because you notice, if I'm on YouTube or it's a random battle, I usually win. That's funny, right? If it's a competition with prizes and they can use their own teams, I usually don't stand a chance. I wonder how that works. I wonder if that's wonder if it's fair or if it's BS. Don't matter. I don't plan to really do any more episodes on the server. I don't want to give it any more free advertising than I have to, or I feel is necessary. So I don't think I will be, but I want to keep it just in case, because there are a player or two on there that I don't want to stab. So I mean, yeah, I know. So yeah, that'll be that. What else is there? I'm running out of things to say already. But this was, I'm guessing this episode is probably already about 40 minutes long. And there's not a lot going on in my life. So, yeah. I ran into a few people that I used to know. A girl that went to my school. She looks pretty good. Like, I don't really want to say she looks good. I didn't really think she looked good in high school. But she didn't really change looks very much since high school. Like, I probably haven't seen her in over 10 years. And yeah, I didn't exactly know it was her, but I was pretty sure. Here goes a bike. Running into a lot of people all of a sudden. There's no cars on the other side. So they must have all came in from the other side. It is what it is. No big deal. I figured today was either going to be a lot of people or no people, because it's a nice day on a weekend. So, and yeah. Now, what was I saying? Yeah, she didn't look too much different from high school, but I didn't see her in 10 years, so I wasn't certain. She still looks about the same. She's cute. I mean, she got that. She's cute. I mean, I wouldn't, given the opportunity, I probably wouldn't say no, but really wouldn't pursue it either. So, yeah, that's where that sits. Actually ran into the girl that I used to Netflix and chill with, and Yeah, that was weird. It was hard to hear what she was saying because of all the traffic and crap. But it basically boiled down to asking me if I lost $1. And I was like, I was thinking for a minute, like, is this some sort of trick question? So I was like, no. And I walked away. I'm not sure what happened there. So, like, I don't know if I did something or if she did something or if it just fell apart. I'm not sure what happened between us. So I figured I wouldn't bother pursuing it. There's grapes. And don't get me wrong, that one I would like to pursue. She has a rockin' body. But been there, done that, and it was nice, but now it's over. So, that's how it is. It was great. I'm glad it happened. Wouldn't be opposed to it happening again, but I have no idea what exactly happened, like to end it. So, it is what it is. I mean, either she didn't recognize me, or she doesn't want to stab me. So that's a good sign. Good old grandma went back to the emergency room. She got sent back the same night. Don't know what's going on there. Me and my aunt talked about it for a while, and like I had to go pick up prescriptions, and my aunt was the ride, so we talked about it a good bit. And we don't know. None of us really know. It's like, she's 80 years old, so yeah, there could be a problem. But I mean, well, I think it's another part of some sort of scheme. Because what kind of hospital sends an 80-year-old woman home that's having any kind of an issue? Like, you think they'd keep her for some sort of observation, like just to be safe. And another hill. But I've been to that hospital, and it's not like they're hurting for rooms. So I think, I don't know what to believe. I really don't know what's going on. I know it's not good. Either way, either somebody's lying to me, or somebody's lying to her, or we're all being lied to. Don't really know. I just don't see how anybody, any hospital, anyone that took the Hippocratic Oath would send a 80-year-old woman home the same day if she deemed it necessary to go to an emergency room. But that's, I'm not a doctor, and that's just my opinion. Am I concerned? I mean, I don't have emotion. I don't have very many emotions. I can't care. It's not that I don't want to. And I'm not heartless. Like, I feel bad, I guess. But I find it really hard to care. All the things that happened in my life has left me very, very numb. So, it's like, it's hard to genuinely say I'm worried, because I'm really not. It's life, you know? People get old, people get sick, people die. Unfortunately, in this place, you know, you gotta kind of expect the unexpected. Am I worried about what's gonna happen to me? Not really. I mean, worst case scenario, if something happens that's long term, and she doesn't have things set in motion to benefit me, that just means I'm taking my trip a little early and have to, change the plans a little bit. So, I mean, if anything, being forced out and being forced sooner would probably be better, because it's just kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid. Like, I want to wait till spring for logical reasons. But at the same time, I've already wasted so much time here. So, I don't know. I can't really say until it happens. Like, I can't really say what I'm going to worry about or what I plan to do until it comes time, because it's just really hard to process when you're always being manipulated and you don't really know what the heck's really going on. It's hard to make good, smart choices when you don't really know who's causing what or what's doing who. Like I said, what do I know? Alright, I'm going to go for a little bit and see if I can think of anything else to talk about. And I'll, spider webs. I'm going to go for a little bit, see about anything else. Think about if there's anything else I want to talk about. Think about anything else I want to do. Oh, excuse me, there's that burp. I think if there's anything else I want to say or do. But, like I said, it's going to be a long walk, and I'm already running out of things to say. So, I'm back. I'm exploring a different chute of the trail. I figured for a couple of minutes. I don't know how far I'm going to go because it's all uphill, and, well, I'm an old, washed-up fat guy, so climbing hills isn't exactly my favorite thing to do. I'm just kidding. Well, no, not really. I don't think I'm old and washed up yet. Probably got about another 10 years for that. Definitely tipped the prime scale a while ago. Sheesh, I wonder what this path is for. Look at it, it's like cut into the hillside. Like, this was definitely made, made. This wasn't like for quads or something. Like, yeah, it just keeps going up. It'll go up to those two trees, and then if it doesn't level out, I think I'm turning around because I got about a 3-mile walk back, and I don't want to be too drained, especially because I'm out of water, and I don't like being out here without at least one bottle of water. So it seems like it kind of levels out. A little bit. Definitely not as drastic of an incline. I think we'll go a little bit further. Squirrels. Lots of gray squirrel up here. I've seen quite a few. Spider web. You guys can't see it, but I see that one, and I ain't walking into it. So if I'm right, we should be like on top of the tunnel. Alright. I don't know. Oh, you're a quad. Alright, so what did we cover? We covered the missing cooking episodes. We covered my soon-to-be departure from the server. We covered the whatever's going on with the financial situation. It's probably ain't gonna work out in my favor, because if it did, that would mean I might be able to build a life, and that's against the rules, obviously, because I don't know, I kicked somebody's dog or something, and now they have personal prejudice against me. I don't think I kicked anybody's dog. I typically love animals, so I don't think I kicked somebody's dog, but I did something not so good to somebody. Yeah, it's probably like that other dude that I'm in a bit of an argument with, I guess. I wouldn't call it an argument, I just ain't talking to him no more, but, you know, it's probably something like that. Somebody said I did something I didn't do, and instead of asking me outright, you know, they just automatically assume I did it. So, it wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last time. I guess, last time I lost 5 years of my life. This time I just lost somebody that, you know, could have maybe possibly been a friend. So, I mean, I guess it's slightly less damage. I mean, last time I got accused of something I didn't do, I lost 5 years of my life, most of my family, most of my friends, my home, my job. Now, this time, it's just one guy, so, you know, I guess that's not so bad. It's not funny, but it's funny, you know. It's not funny, but not much else I could do about it but laugh. It's actually kind of infuriating. It's actually quite annoying. But, I mean, what you gonna do, right? I mean, I can go confront dude and tell him that who he heard the information from is a liar, but what good's that gonna do? If he's willing to cut off the friendship over something like that, then it wasn't much of a friendship to begin with. So, yeah, we're at the top of the hill, as you can see. Like, yeah, we're at the peak. A couple more steps, we're at the peak. Yeah, it's just like that, you know. Well, same with the neighbors. I think the one I say is like a baby farm. I don't take that back. Like, I think one of the reasons I wasn't welcome there is because I wasn't, you know, paying to sleep with their daughter. No, it's messed up now. I have no proof of that. So, but it has crossed my mind a couple of times that I wonder if I'd still be their friend if I told them I'd give them $20 to put a baby in their daughter. Well, not put a baby in their daughter, because that would put her out of business for a little while. Yeah, I used to go up and talk to the neighbor. Well, we already went over this. I'm just rehashing old annoyances. I was just thinking about it, because I brought up other dude, and it all kind of fits the same scenario. And I was outside last night doing the whole hacky sack thing, and a lot of them were out. So I just crossed my mind. It's a real shame. I guess that's just how the world works, right? If you got power to do something to make your life better, and it just so happens to come at the expense of somebody else, how many people really care if they can't be stopped? It's like the server, it's like life. If you have the ability to cheat, if you have the ability to manipulate, lie, and exploit to get your way, and no one can stop you, why wouldn't you do it? I said to myself, if I had the ability to do what they were doing, there's a good chance I'd probably do it too. So it's hard for me to really look down on people. I mean, not that hard, because when I did have the ability of doing things like that, there were quite a few times that I'd take the L because it wasn't worth the damage it would cause somebody else. Like I said, I used to always say that age-old thing, like, nobody's better than anybody, stuff like that. But that's a lie. That's a lie. I am better. I am better than a lot of people in a lot of ways. Nowhere near the best. Nowhere near perfect. But around here, I'm one of those grade A beefcakes. Because I actually have like a soul and a conscience. Well, kind of. And actually, I don't know if I have a soul or not. I often joke that my soul's been stolen. Like I'm dead inside. Because there's like, I don't know if that's so much me or just the circumstances. You know, if you don't have anything to really do, you don't talk to anybody, you ain't got hardly any friends, you ain't got hardly any outlets of things to go do, then, you know, how can you really say if you're, you know, alive or not, in a sense. Spiritually, not so much physically. It's another one of those mushrooms. I think I'm getting fatter too. Like I feel heavier, and it's the weirdest thing because I feel like I'm doing more. Like I feel like I'm doing more, and yet I still feel like I'm getting heavier and heavier. I don't get it. It's got to be an old thing. It's got to be a metabolism thing, because I'm not even eating like a lot of like really junky food. I mean, my diet, like I said before, my diet's like way off from like the way it used to be. But but it's not like I'm, you know, pigging down a pack of Oreos, you know, topped with Doritos. I'm not having an Oreo Dorito salad, you know, covered in ranch dressing. You know, I'm not drinking a 2-liter of Mountain Dew with a tub of an industrial tub of cake frosting on the side. So I don't really understand it, but you know, it is what it is. It's another thing I can't really change. I don't run or jog because it's bad for your joints, for one. For two, not only do I have asthma, I smoked for quite a while. I mean, not a lot. I haven't smoked a lot. Like, I'm not like those people that are like, you know, pack a day, 2-pack a day. Like, I've been, you know, off and on smoking and fluctuating from a quarter to a half a pack a day. So, I mean, unless I drank, then I might have been a full pack, but that was also pretty rare. So, like, I don't even remember what I was talking about. I lost my train of thought again. Yeah. I took into consideration that I pretty much quit smoking. Like, I still smoke on rare occasion. Like, I bought a pack a couple nights ago. I made some money. I don't remember how I made money. I made like $15 or something. So I went and bought a pack of smokes. I went and had 2 beer at the bar, which is like $15, by the way. So then I ended up smoking a whole pack of cigarettes because, like, I wish they sold them, like, I wish they were fair, you know, and they sold, like, 5 packs. Like, cigarettes that are, like, 5 in a pack for 1/4 of the price. Because then, you know, I could buy, like, 2 of those, and it would last me a night of drinking, and I won't have all those extra ones, so I don't just smoke them just because they're there. Like, you know, but, you know, that's just me me re-emphasizing the lack of self-control. Like, I don't have that hard of a time saying no to something if I'm not around it, or it's not within hand's reach. But if it's right up in my area, and I know I can get to it whenever I want it, then then I lack that self-control. Okay, so I'm back on the trail. We used to be all the way up there. Now we're not. But so I mentioned I went over and talked to the neighbor. I've been talking to the neighbor off and on here and there because I've been distributing tomatoes, throughout, the family tree and general vicinity of my house. Because as I said, and I was not exaggerating, I might even be underselling it, probably had about 300 tomatoes. So there's probably about 100 still on the vine. I got about 6 or 7 on the windowsill to finish ripening, and I got 4 big green ones in the fridge, and I gave away 6 big green ones yesterday. So I like keeping 4 on hand until the last harvest. The last harvest, I'll keep like 8, so that I have them for as long as possible. But until the last harvest, I like keeping 4, and I give the rest away, otherwise they'll rot. So, anyways, I cleaned up the plants, and I took over, I don't know, a handful, smaller ones, or, ones that were less desirable or whatever, and I took them over. And we were talking, and he thinks, we were talking about, like, how the world is crap. Guess he has a very similar perspective as me. He thinks that, in a sense, he thinks that it's going to be something to do with immigrants coming over the border and terrorists and stuff. And I don't know about all that. He also thinks that women are a big cause of problems, and I don't completely disagree. But I mean, men are idiots too. So, and now the longer history goes on, and the more time that spends, it's getting harder and harder to tell a man and a woman apart, physically and mentally, the way people freaking act. But, which, in my opinion, is kind of disgusting. You do you, I don't judge, but, if you're a man, you're a man. If you're a woman, you're a woman. It's just, that's just how it is. Sorry for your luck. Sorry for you losing the genetic lottery, but you are what you were born with. So, that's my opinion, but, you're all entitled to your own, and I have friends that I have been acquainted with people that have very different outlooks on that kind of stuff, and like I said, I don't judge. I don't know, he seems to think, immigrants or women, I don't think it's that clear cut. Like, I'm still kind of, I think it's not so much a color or a gender. I'm still pretty set on the have and have not idea. Like, it's, the people we have to fear are the people with the power, because they're the ones making life the way it is. I don't think it's, all women. I don't think it's all Mexicans. It's, the people that have the power, have some sort of power, and exerting that power to make less powerful people more miserable. Those are the people we have to fear. Now, if that just so happens to be all of womankind, then, I guess he's right, but I just don't see that being realistic. But then again, I don't see a lot of this being realistic. Half the stuff that goes on in my day-to-day life doesn't seem realistic. Now, I guess not really. Now that I live with good old grandma, and I barely do anything. I mean, I guess that's a lot of it is pretty realistic now because, you know, I don't do a lot, so. But anyways, you get the idea. You get the idea. It's just something I'm pondering, you know. And the long and short of it is, it doesn't really matter who's the cause of it. Well, I mean, it does. But if you don't have a way to, you know, take them down, it doesn't really make much of a difference. I don't think it's a gender. I don't think it's a race. I think it's a social bracket now. And in which, in some ways, it's always been that way. It just so happened that, well, I guess not. In a way, I guess, but not really. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I was gonna say, like, in a way, it's always been have and have-nots. But I guess not, kind of, and not really. I don't know. Like, before, with, slavery, you know, slaves came from another country where they were ripped from their people, where they had very little, where they were either taken by force or promised something, and then backstabbed into being a mule for some rich white dude. That is a case of have and have not, because they didn't have anything, and they got taken advantage of by somebody that has a lot. So, you know, I guess that does run that way, because there's if you look at it before women's rights, you know, women were more taken advantage of because men were more physically built and more throughout history and religion, the more predominant gender. So the women weren't given the power, weren't given what they were as equality. So they were taken advantage of, you know, the whole beaten, forced to be, you know, not allowed to vote or whatever, you know. All those different things. That also stems from yeah, it's a gender, yeah, the last one was a race, but it's still a have and have not situation. Throughout time, religion, social standards, men had power, women didn't. They took advantage of that power. And with, you know, slavery, the white men had the power. They took advantage of that power. Now, the people that have all the money, the people that have all the say, have that power and are taking advantage of that power. So it's history repeating itself over and over and over. And there's very little you can do about it. Like, unless a very large majority of us got together, and I'm talking like 75% of the United States population, and decided that we're not drinking soda anymore until all the soda companies go out of business. You know, that's the way it would make a change, you know, but it's never going to happen. Like, 75% of the people just go and be like, that's it. We're not smoking cigarettes ever. You know, after 2 or 3 years of their sales being drastically cut, you know, they would go out of business or would drastically diminish. And that's the only way I believe there'd ever be a change. The thing is, never going to get people on the same page for the right cause. It's like, once upon a time, you got enough people on board to say, okay, slavery's wrong, that's not going to happen anymore. So they just flip the script. So now they're not enslaving, black folk. They're having indentured servants. They're what's the word for show of power? Like, business owners would go and hire people dirt cheap, like immigrants. Do a job a white man would do for $4 an hour, and they would do it for $0.25 an hour. So they would. It was the same thing. They just exploited different loopholes. Instead of outright doing it, they hide it behind, fancy titles. Like, I'm paying them, just not fair wages, and he doesn't care, because if he complains, he gets deported. You get my point? It's an ongoing problem, and it's going to continue to happen forever and ever until humanity is wiped out, in my opinion. But alright, I'm gonna go, guys. This is getting kind of long, and I'm getting a bit tired, so I don't want to. I'm gonna start rambling. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you eventually. Getting 75% of the world's population, or the country's population, on the same page is probably just as likely as having the culprit to the problem turn themselves in.